Good morning, and thank you for joining us today as we update our public on last week's arrest of 29-year-old Delmer Orlando Ortiz Lacona on charges of aggravated sexual assault of a child, the investigation's timeline, and our department's continued efforts to identify additional victims. Let me begin by introducing the members that are on stage with me today. I have Assistant Chief Neil Barron of the Investigations Bureau. I have Lieutenant Jonathan Stewart of the Special Victims Commander, and I have Sergeant Sharon Casey, Crimes Against Children Supervisor. We also have several detectives who have worked tirelessly on this investigation from the Crimes Against Children Squad that are in the audience. Following my prepared statements, I will open it up to Sergeant Casey to respond to any specific questions you may have regarding this ongoing investigation. On Monday, May 2nd, Lubbock police officers were called to the 3800 block of 28th Street in reference to an attempted kidnapping of a 4-year-old child. This occurred at a convenience store in the 4200 block of Boston Avenue, and the caller was the child's mother. Upon arrival, police officers began their investigation and quickly determined that this attempted kidnapping was in fact a legitimate attempt to abduct a child, meaning the individual or suspect involved did not have any parental relationship prior connection to the mother or child. Non-parental abductions are extremely rare occurrence, and we recognize that this information will strike a nerve with anyone watching this news conference or reading about this investigation. Once our patrol officers completed their initial investigation and our Special Victims Unit was notified, they jumped into action, completely aware of the irregularity and severity of an attempted crime like this. SVU detectives responded to the scene, thoroughly canvassed the area, conducted multiple interviews with witnesses, and collected video evidence of the incident. Through these efforts, detectives were able to get a very clear picture of the suspect's physical appearance and his clothing description. As additional information came to light, detectives began piecing together the data and were able to identify the suspect within 5 hours as Delmer Lacona. As the investigation continued, detectives discovered that Lacona was arrested following a domestic disturbance call in February of 2022. During the interview of a juvenile witness involved in that February assault case, our detectives received a delayed outcry of sexual assault from a 7-year-old victim, which occurred on August 8th of 2021. With this information, detectives were able to link the attempted aggravated kidnapping to a previous case presented to the Lubbock County DA's office of aggravated sexual assault of a child stemming from the August 8th incident. Contact was made with the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, which then expedited the arrest warrant for the charges of aggravated sexual assault of a child. Lacona was taken into custody by U.S. Marshals on May the 3rd in the 4300 block of Boston Avenue. We can now share with our community that with the outstanding work of these detectives and the unwavering support of our DA's office, not only is Lacona charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child, he is also charged with attempted aggravated kidnapping of a child following an arrest warrant which was secured earlier today. Lacona is currently being held in a Lubbock County detention center where he has been since his May 3rd arrest, with a total bond of $430,000 stemming from multiple charges from these investigations. Lacona is also being held on a federal Immigration's Custom Enforcement detainer with no bond. Sadly, based on some of the information obtained during this investigation, our detectives must consider the possibility that there are more victims, which is why we are asking for our public's help. If you recognize Lacona or believe there is even a remote chance he has had contact with your child, we are asking you to take the time to speak to your child. If you have concerns, please do not hesitate to call us and allow us or our detectives to investigate thoroughly to ensure this individual is held accountable for all of his actions. To report any incident, please contact our Special Victims Unit at 806-775-2788. Now I'd like to take a moment to commend the men and women of this department. from the patrol officers who first responded to the scene to the detectives who worked tirelessly on this case to ensure justice will be served. These officers and detectives' diligence and commitment to this community comes as no surprise to me, as this is the type of work they do on a daily basis. I would also like to thank the multiple agencies that worked with us on this case. The Texas Department of Public Safety, the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office, and the many federal partners. It's truly partnerships like these that allow us to protect the citizens we serve. Following this news conference, our Public Information Office will provide our media partners with the case numbers Licona is associated with. We will also provide a detailed timeline you've seen here and the redacted reports for you to review. At this time, I'll open it up for questions. Sharon, I'll have you join me up here.
I can start. You said this kind of attempted kidnapping is rare. How rare? When is the last time we saw an incident like this in Lubbock?
You know, I don't remember the last time that we've seen a true attempted kidnapping here. We have parental kidnappings that occur quite often, but that's when a parent keeps a child longer than they're supposed to have it, or a parent takes a child out of state and they're not supposed to take them out of state. But something to where you have an individual that has no connection to that family. I can't remember the last time. Not since I've been here.
In this year, this is the first one.
Oh,
last year, we had two, what we call them random or stranger abductions versus, we knew some party involved in that. Last year there were two, and one would be considered a stranger abduction, but there were extenuating circumstances on that, and there was an arrest made in that one. The only other would be, we had one in 2020 that does appear to be a totally random attempted kidnapping. So since 2019, we have this one and the one from 2020 that I would say are true stranger abduction, attempted abductions, and they were both attempted.
Did he mention any kind of specific motive for attempting this kidnapping as far as what he had planned next if he had successfully abducted this child?
The contents of our conversations with him are part of the actual investigation at this point. We'll have to refer that to the DA's office when it comes to trial.
When you're talking about potential victims, are these victims that are also kind of strangers, or are they somehow connected to Mr. Licona?
The ones that we're asking to come forward?
Right.
Either. Anybody who thinks there's a possibility that their child had contact with Mr. Licona in an inappropriate manner, come forward, let us decide, let us find out. We love to clear and say nothing was wrong with that encounter. Mm-hmm. That always makes us happy. But we want for our children, for our parents out here to know that they will be heard.
And I guess can you kind of explain a little further how Mr. Licona got access to the victims in either the August or the May case against him?
Like I said, this was a random, just in the May case, in a parking lot.
I think he's talking about the earlier ones, right? How he had contact with the 7-year-old.
Right. In the August aggravated sexual assault case, how did Mr. Licona have access to
that is not a stranger
okay.
incident.
So someone in his social circle? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a video a couple of weeks ago of a man taking photos of kids at Canyon Lakes Park,
mm-hmm.
and we did a story on it.
Mm-hmm.
And people said it looked a lot like the suspect. Do you know if he's been identified as the suspect in the park as well?
There's no criminal act at the park that has been determined to be the same person. That was part of this investigation.
And are there any indications that Mr. Licona was acting alone, or are there any more suspects that you're...
At this point, it appears to be a lone offender.
As far as the attempted kidnapping, and I assume it'll probably be in the report, what exactly were the, I guess, how did it happen? Was the mother or parent able to fight him off, or was the child able to just get away from him? How did that whole situation happen?
Like I said, that will be in the report, but we can say that the mother did an outstanding job being a good parent, and the child was safe.
She fought him off.
Gotcha.
Casey, you good?
Any other questions?
Thank you all.
Guys.